Good evening and welcome to Sunday Politics. I am Iliyasu Gado. National security is again under pressure as abductions and attacks rise across the north. Communities report more raids, more casualties, and growing fear. Some say authorities dropped the ball. Others argue the armed groups are pushing harder for attention in a tense political climate. Even with rising public concern, northern governors postponed a meeting meant to address the crisis. This comes as the federal government announces new steps to curb the violence. Tonight, we'll hear from Group Captain Sadeeq Shehu, retired, a security and intelligence expert, and Dr. Umar Ardo, an opposition figure, on what these developments means. Good evening, gentlemen. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, and good evening.
Dr. Umar Ardo, how are you? Good evening. How do you feel about today and, other things around the country?
Well, I'm sad. I'm sad that we have entered a situation I never contemplated that we will ever enter. When I was a kid, I grew up in Kojoli, and I used to trek from my hometown in the night to the adjoining district headquarters. So 10, 11 in the night, I alone, as a small boy, less than 10 years, and come back. During my days of NYSC, I did my NYSC in Cross River. I also used to trek from one community to the other, no matter what time is it in the night. I felt, that it was safe, and it was indeed safe. Now I cannot do so. But that is not even the issue. The issue is that it doesn't even look as if we are going to resolve this problem. It is increasing by the day. And it ought to increase by the day because the funnel, fueling it is still there. That is poverty, lack of education, and high population explosion of children that we cannot take care of.
Okay, Group Captain, retired sir. This is right up your alley. We've tried the kinetic, non-kinetic, we've tried all sorts of things. In fact, as late as last week, Mr. President declared a state of emergency on insecurity in the country. And we are, facing the looming threat of being, attacked, or rather, facing a military intervention in Nigeria by the Americans regarding the issue of insecurity. What really can we do? What can we try? We have done all that is necessary to be done on this issue, militarily and all that, but it seems to defy all efforts. What really can you offer to us and to Nigerians on what needs to be done from your own perspective as a military man?
Okay, thank you very much. I will continue from where Dr. Ardo stopped. Over the years, we've been having an explosion of population, a myriad of security challenges, but our security architecture did not move pari passu these changes in our political or social landscape, such that now we are caught with a security architecture that cannot really answer to the current security challenges. So unfortunately now we are, instead of getting prepared for emergencies, it means now we have to be restructuring our security architecture if there is the political will, while at the same time fighting the various forms of insecurity. What do I mean? For a country that is over 930,000 kilometers square, with over 200 million population, facing multiple security challenges, whether it is banditry, whether it is Boko Haram, ISWAP, whether it is separatist movement, whether it is people stealing oil, all these are there. Yet when you take the whole number of our security forces, whether you add the military, which is just about less than 300,000, the police maybe 300,000 plus, altogether we do not have a million people on that.
Let me just ask you this. We've had these security challenges now for over 15 years.
15, let's see.
Well, let's just about that, yeah. And we have had, we've had situations where, successive governments would say, okay, we're going to try this approach, we're going to try that approach. In fact, one time it was even said that, look, the Nigerian military or the Nigerian security services are not used to fighting this kind of, pitch battles. This kind of battles,
yes.
asymmetric battles that the insurgents adopt, and that we need to adopt new strategies. We've had enough time to train and to do all kinds of things to be able to meet these challenges. Yet, it appears that the insurgents keep going ahead of the military, keep going ahead of the government. And now it has come to the point where people are saying, look, the insurgents are even dictating the tune. What really can we do then to make sure that we, square the circle on this?
A very valid point. While the insurgents have been adapting to the situation, our own security forces have been adapting. Yes, it is actually true. When you look at the setup of our military, for example, we were set up for fighting one country against another. Nigerian military versus Cameroonian military, for example, over versus Niger. That is how we were organized. But the problem of fighting with an insurgent group, with a non-state actor, which is not a professional military, is that first, it is not like tactics versus like tactics. You get the point? If, for example, may God forbid, we fight with Cameroon, where their army is going to be operating almost the same with our own. So I know how to checkmate them. But people like Boko Haram, people like ISWAP, they don't fight along, I have a battalion, or I have a platoon, or I have all that one is not part of their setup. All they have is their mind to go and fight. What do I mean? For a military to fight, for example, when you say a battalion, you must have about 700 to 800 officers and men. You must have about 200, if it is an infantry battalion, you must have about 200 APCs. You must have an ambulance. You must have a water tanker. You must have a mine destruction vehicle. That is how the military is structured. If anything is missing from these pieces, that battalion is not going to function. It is not the same with a Boko Haram or ISWAP something. 30 people. In my estimate, Boko Haram never attacked in more than 100 people. Never. Hardly. Maximum 100 people. But the problem is that, I just want to give you an example. If there's a town with 10,000 people in northeast, in northwest, and 100 Boko Haram, 25 come from the north, 25 come from the east, 25 come from shooting sporadically without even killing anybody. Do you know they can empty that town within 1 hour? Do you agree with me? But no, let me finish, please. But now, if you want to defend that town, if you want to make people comfortable that they can stay and do their farming and do their cattle rearing and not run away, you are not going to come with 100, the number of Boko Haram. In fact, 200 will not be enough. 300, you're talking about 500. So this is the issue of, whenever we talk, this issue of numbers, which I am happy now everybody is opening his eye. We didn't take this issue of numbers very seriously. And we are forgetting lessons we learned. When we started the Civil War, I was young, I didn't fight the Civil War, but I read about it. Within 1 year, the strength of the Nigerian army quadrupled. That is 4 times. For 15 years now, what is the growth of our military? What is the growth of our police since we started this thing? Only minimal. Even the one that the president said we should do is not going to be enough. That is the reality of it.
But Dr. Ardo, we've had this for the past 15 years. We've had time to study the modus of the insurgents. We've seen them operate. We definitely by now would have studied how they operate and how to apply ourselves to stopping them. Why have we not been able to do that?
Well, when you form a fighting group, like an army, you train it to fight conventional and non-conventional. The war that is being fought now is a non-conventional. It's a guerrilla sort tactics, whereby without you knowing, you are ambushed and then you are dealt with, then they change location. It's not as if they dug a trench and then they were inside that trench and you need to, upload them from that trench. No, they are guerrilla tactics. So there are non-conventional ways, of fighting. So you need to prepare with that. But I'm not actually worried about this kinetic aspect of fighting this war. I'm worried about the sociological aspect of the entire thing.
As the non-kinetic.
Yeah,
So to
you see, if you put fire here and there is no firewood, in just a matter of time, the fire will extinguish. But if there is a firewood fueling this fire, you cannot extinguish it. Let us first and foremost, cut the firewood and stop it from funneling, the fire. And the firewood are the redundant, poor, malnourished youth roaming all over. Over the years, they become hardened, and their hearts become malice against society. They are easy targets to be recruited. Where are they recruiting them? When people say that we are bringing people from outside, I'll just look at them and laugh. They are all Nigerians. 99% of all the Boko Haram terrorists are Nigerians. 99% of those Fulani bandits are Nigerians.
Yeah, but you see, the question, people have laid the blame, these non-kinetic issues, on the governors and elders of the North. And that they, over the years, have done little or nothing to address these issues. They've sort of, paid lip service to it. Look at just now, the northern governors have postponed the proposed meeting, to look at these issues. Does it show a sense of seriousness? Does it not actually show that the northern governors are not very serious about addressing these issues that give rise to this insurgency?
Our problem is fundamentally political. All this, if they ask me, how did you come about this? You know who I will blame? I will blame our politicians. I will blame the PDP and I will blame the APC. Because it is the PDP and APC politicians that held sway in this country for the past 25, 26 years that brought us to where we are today. No other person. And it is the people who condone that. Some of us they refused to accept that. We said, no, you are not doing it the right way. You will take this country into crisis. They said no. Some of us went to court. I went to court 16 times against this system. The courts are not there. So the entire institutions, the political party institution, governmental institution, judicial institution, all of them seem to be conspiring against the Nigerian state. And at the end of the day, the Nigerian state has fallen into where we are today. So it's the politicians that we must blame. And who brought the politicians? They are the electorate. Until our electorate start seeing that this is a bad guy and this is a good guy and distinguishes these two and then put the good guy in office, we will continue to have more Boko Haram, more Fulani bandits, more iPod, more everything until that kingdom comes.
Group Capt. Shehu, I see you nodding, and I want to believe that some of the issues, some of the things that have happened over the past few weeks regarding the death of soldiers, of even a brigadier general, who is a one-star and who is supposed to command a brigade of about roughly 700 to 1,000 people.
More than that, far more than that.
More than that, exactly. So, yeah. And then others that have been killed in such gruesome, unacceptable manner, all fighting to defend the country. Yet, you begin to ask yourself, are there elements within the military who are actually giving out the war plan, the battle plans against the insurgents? Because these things cannot be explained by you and me. You as a military man, who perhaps may have been involved in planning some of these issues, are seeing this. What really can you tell us about? Can you unpack this thing? Let's know what's happening.
Okay, first I'm happy that you brought the issue of late General Uba, who died recently. Yes. So rest in peace. Now, since General Uba died, you raised one issue, which I want us to go fundamentally. I had expected by now, whether it is the executive branch, whether it is the legislative branch, they should be asking, General Uba is supposed to be commanding a brigade. By Nigerian organization of battle, when you say a brigade, you are talking about 2,500 officers and men. If we want to get at the end of the, how was General Uba ambushed and isolated? How many troops were under him? You get the point? When you say that brigade again, you are talking of about a brigade that should have about 300 different kinds of vehicles. Soft skin, hard skin, 300. How many did he have? You get the point I'm saying?
Yes.
You will be shocked. And I'm saying this openly. You will be shocked if you find out how many troops were with General Oba instead of this 2,500. That's what he's trained. So what does it mean? If you give a brigade commander less than that number, like I said, because he's training, everything is supposed to have that complete complement. If he doesn't have that complete complement, he's going to be fighting short.
But you did say that most times when the insurgents attack, they are not more than 100 persons.
Yes.
Yet they are able to overwhelm a brigade.
Exactly.
How come?
Because just like again, Dr. Ardo said, you see, even the insurgents, I said they adapted. Initially, when Boko Haram came, what was their decision? They said they were going to have a caliphate. That was to say they will go to one area and capture and say this is our area. But it didn't take them long to understand that if they say they are going to hold ground, the Nigerian military is going to be hitting them. Boko Haram doesn't hold ground now. They roam. They roam. They are very mobile. And that is why, like I gave you the example, if 100 Boko Haram attack a town, if you want to defend that, because what is winning? You cannot tell people in Zamfara or Kebbi or Katsina that you have won if they cannot stay and farm, if they cannot go to market, if they cannot stay in the houses, as long as they are running as IDPs, or some even running to other countries, and this you have not won. So for you to bring that back that village or that town that was displaced by 100 Boko Haram, you don't need 100 soldiers, you don't even need 200, you don't need 400, you might probably look for a battalion, which is about 700 and 800. So that is why the insurgent or the irregular war, he can attack with very few numbers. But professional armies, they must find in their complements. If it is a company, it must have that 100 plus people. If it is a platoon, it must have that 30 or 10 people. If it is a battalion, you must talking about 700 and 800 with the complete number of vehicles, with the medical cover, with the vehicles that can tow vehicles if they break down. We are very, very much short on those things.
Yeah, but
that is the reality.
You as an air officer, I mean, the component, the Air Force component of this fight against insurgents is very critical.
It is.
Because where you can't see them on the ground, you at least can reach them with attack helicopters and attack, attack planes, like the Tucano we went to great lengths to purchase. You should be able to, at least from the air, pinpoint where they are and be able to at least send ordnances down to them. So when we have all this and we're still not getting the hang of the fight against the insurgency, what really is
with due respect, last week there was this debate between Senator Akpabio, the Senate President, and Senator Ali Ndumi about satellite. Why our military not using satellite? That debate, for people that are very conversant, for people that are very discerning, it exposed the kind of ignorance that is prevalent in even the people that are supposed to oversight the military. Oversighting the military means different things. First, you give them money. But first, you have to understand even what are they going to use that money for. What is good for them, and you have to follow the money. So if you don't understand this, they were talking about they should use, there was an argument between Akpabio, who said we have satellites, that our people can use satellite, and Ali Ndume, who said we don't have satellites. Now, have anybody, as of Air Force, does anybody from the presidency to Ministry of Defense, to all these committees on Air Force, have you call any of them and ask him how many aircraft does he think the Air Force has?
Functional aircraft.
Functional, that is the word, not the one that you see on calendar. They are arrayed like that.
But there have been purchases of aircraft, the Tucanos from that General Buhari.
Yes, we bought 12. We bought 12. Yes,
and the attack helicopters, procured from China, from recently Italy, and all that. These are supposed to be ground, to really get to the point where they.
This is the point in a war situation. Every day you're supposed to have a report how many are serviceable. The fact that I have 12 aircraft doesn't mean on Monday morning that there are 12 Tucanos ready to go. You get the point? The fact that I have 20 helicopters, it doesn't mean on Monday morning I have 20 helicopters. But our politicians don't understand that. And for that reason, with due respect, I think Nigerians have an exaggerated expectation on our armed forces, which is completely out of the reality of what they are capable of or what they have on the ground. Whether you talk in terms of numbers, whether you talk in terms of equipment. I just give you an example. How many of our politicians, for example, all this one chairman army committee, how many of them know that if you go on oversight, they say this is 1-2 battalion, you should be seeing 800 officers and men. You should be saying about 200 armored personnel carriers. How many of them know that? Is it not just to go and snap picture and do parade and leave the place? So unless if there's lack of oversight, there are less oversight. And with due respect, as a military officer, I can tell you, different militaries have different traditions. In the same debate between Ndume and Senator, I heard him saying that generals don't complain. I'm talking about military culture. In other military cultures, an officer or a service chief is not a politician. He can look at the eye of the president. Sir, if I don't have so-so men, if we don't have so-so equipment, I cannot capture that place. Unfortunately, we don't teach our officers like that. So they go saying that we have everything. It started with due respect during Buhari. I follow that, where a service chief will say, Mr. President, we thank you, you have given us everything. Meanwhile, half of their requirement is not there on the ground. In other countries, a service chief will tell the boy, whether it is in parliament, whether it's president, he will say, sir, you want me to capture Maiduguri? If I don't have 10,000 troops, if I don't have so-so helicopters, if I don't have, I cannot do it.
Dr. Ardo, let me take you to the statements by the terrorists that, you know, that the government negotiated for the release of those young girls that were, you know, that were kidnapped in Maga or so in Kebbi State. They said in their statement that they saw a lot of, you know, aircraft, whether it's helicopters or, you know, ground attack aircraft, hovering around them. They didn't shoot them. They didn't, you know, they didn't attack them. Yet we are here talking about, Group Captain Shehu is talking about lack of serviceable aircraft. What do we make of this? We are spending a hell of a lot of money every year on defense and all that, yet we are not able to get functional, serviceable aircraft that can make the difference in the fight against insurgency.
Well, I don't know why. I'm not in the government. I'm not in the military.
Yeah, but you know,
I don't know why we don't have it. If they say they've provided money for it, we ought to have had it. If they say they bought them, we ought to have seen it. So if we don't see it, we don't have it. I'm not in the parliament. I do not go and oversee whether it is right, whether it is true or not. I don't think I'm in the best position to answer this question. I don't know. The thing, what I know is that unless we block the funnel, the firewood, you know, fueling this crisis, it will never end. It will never end.
Yeah, well, let me still with you. There is this accusation, whether right, allegation, you know, that now some very, very important and well-placed personalities in Nigeria have been fingered, whether rightly or wrongly, whether it's correct or not, as being the sponsors of some of these insurgents, providing them with arms, providing with money, providing with all kinds of things, and protection, in fact, for this to go on. And in fact, some people have even said the whole thing has become a bazaar now, where, you know, a lot of money exchanges hands, the insurgents, you know, and the people, very influential people, are involved in, you know, in a kind of, you know, incestuous relationship towards these ideas, towards this, you know, insurgency, that if without cutting off the oxygen, cutting off the people behind it, it will not work. And a lot of these people are fingered. Some have even said that in government, some are said to be very influential. What can you say about this?
Well, you know, conspiracy theories are all over the place. If really there are, let us see their names. Let them list them. Well, then, if they cannot list them, then they should shut up.
Exactly. We are told that the government of Dubai, UAE, actually even supplied the names of these people to the government.
Then you should ask the government. This is what the government of Dubai has supplied you. Why are their names? So who are those making these allegations that these people, there are sponsors to this? You see, my own view, my own theory is that, which is a conspiracy theory, is that Nigeria is undoubtedly, potentially, a very strong nation. We have the capacity and the capability of being anything in on this planet Earth. We have the intellect, we have the numbers, we have the resources to rub shoulders with any superpower within a period of 20, 30 years. If Dubai, that is less than 3 local government areas in Adamawa State, can become what it has become today within a period of 30, 40 years. China, within a period of 30, 40 years, it has removed more than 800 million people out of poverty. If South Korea, that fought a very venal war with North Korea from 1950s to now, I was in Seoul a few months or so ago. They have cities up on the earth, and they have these cities, under the ground. It's just a marvelous country. If they can do that, why can't we do it? We are not, and we are supposed, Nigeria is supposed to be the window of the black world, of the black man. We are supposed to be the symbol of victory or failure, success or failure of the black man.
But away from this lamentation.
It's not lamentation. We are just, I'm stating to you facts of what we are. We are what I can call Aspalasafilis of the world, the lowest of the low of the world. Why? It's because our leadership is terrible.
Yeah, okay.
And our leadership is as a result of the docility of our people. Exactly. Our people are docile.
Now,
and Northern Nigeria is the worst of that docile people. So when I see our people with big, it pains me. Why? Because what are you saying? Look at your back. Just turn at your back and see those ones ramshackle.
But you said
we have gone beyond state of poverty in Northern Nigeria to state of destitution. Our people have become destitute all over.
Now,
who will talk to us about anything?
Now.
And we held power. See, Northern Nigeria is like, before I came here, I was with one big man. He said to me, you Northerners, he's a Southerner. He said, you Northerners, you're holding political power for years. You are holding the head of the cow. We hold political power, but Southerners hold economic and bureaucratic power. And that is where everything is. In the economy and in the bureaucracy.
But look at what's happening now. Northern governors have opportunity over the years, over the decades, to transform this Northern Nigeria, to stop the destitution, to stop all the out of school children, and the poverty rates. They have not done that. The late premier of Northern Nigeria, Sardauna, started on this trajectory, and he had plans, very, very, very beautiful plans to transform Northern Nigeria. In fact, Northern Nigeria was coming up.
We were coming up.
Yeah, but at some point, the people who took over from him, look at a typical example. Northern governors were supposed to sit down and deliberate on these issues that are bedeviling the North, and they chose abdication.
Please.
And that's how has been the story of Northern Nigeria. Can you please
see. Sardauna, Tafawa Balewa, and the rest, they died poor. They were poorer than their communities. They were building their communities to be wealthy, and they were poor. But conversely, our politicians of today, from national to state, look at all of them. They are wealthier
by far
than their communities. While they are getting wealthier, their communities are getting poorer. They have people that you elect into office. At the time of their election, they were in a rented house. Today, they are the ones having estates and renting it out. Those that you have elected, at the time of their election, they never went to Kano or Lagos. Now they are moving all over the world. They're taking people to Jerusalem, taking people to Mecca. Then people that had nothing, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 houses, you put them into office. Today they have aircrafts, private jets, and then opening universities, opening houses, and so on and so on. They have become obscenely wealthy. Then the society that they are supposed to lead to get out of poverty have moved from state of poverty to state of destitution. And what are you talking about? And most of them are northern Nigerians.
Group Captain Shehu, sir.
Yes, please.
What do you think? Because northern Nigeria has become, some have described northern Nigeria as the sick man of Nigeria, so to speak. I don't mean it in a pejorative sense, but the fact is that's where you have statistics showing.
I think he copied it from the politics of 19th century Europe, where the Europeans described Turkey as the sick man of Europe.
Yes, and what happened afterwards?
Turkey
there was
woke
Ataturk.
up. Yes, he
woke up from that slumber. Now northern Nigeria has...
And that has been the problem of the world.
Then northern Nigeria has regressed. And if you like, whether we like it or not, has become the sick man of Nigeria, because all the statistics regarding poverty, regarding development, regarding school, regarding all kinds of things, northern Nigeria has become the leader, unfortunately, in these issues. Now, you as a military man, you are at the nexus of looking at society. As an intelligence officer too, you are at the nexus of looking at society and how it evolves. And what would you say should be the solution to this? Because we are now not talking about issues, accusations. We want solutions now and yesterday, like yesterday.
That's on the security itself, or generally?
Everything generally
okay. If you are talking generally, I completely agree with Dr. Ardo. You know, our people in the north are very docile.
People, are you talking about the leaders or the rule?
I think the rules. We are very docile. This is, you know, you select somebody who doesn't do anything at the community level, but he'll come either on Friday or during fasting, he'll come and give you 10,000 naira, and you're okay with that, and you worship that person, and you go and ask that person during election, who do I vote for? You carry your wife, Oga say we should vote somebody. That kind of docility, we don't hold our leaders accountable in the north. With due respect, that is the honest truth. They do that more in the south than we do here. There are some southern communities, if they elect you and you don't do something, with due respect, I will say this thing. When Obasanjo became president, he did everything, whether people know it or not, he did a lot for the south. Why? The Yoruba people will eat him raw if he goes back after his regime. He didn't do anything for them. We don't have that kind of tradition in the north. Once you are a big man, he will go and do whatever he likes. He will mess up. If he calls back, he can even give me a traditional title. We have seen some terrible people being given traditional title in this northern Nigeria. We have seen some terrible people being made chancellors of universities after they have looted the country dry and they didn't do anything. So honest, that is the reality.
What can we do really to...
Well, we start maybe by it's not going to be easy because already people are hungry. You get the point? Already people are hungry. A hungry man, they say all he thinks is his stomach. But maybe we may start by, sensitizing. In the north, that's what we need to start to do. We need to start sensitizing people, like he said, for knowing who is the good man, who has a good character, even though I know somebody could have a good character and change. But then they said the proof of future action is past action. We can look at good people and start selecting them. We should, our people by now, after this suffering, they should understand that the fact that I came and gave you 20,000 naira, you are not duty bound to go and elect me. You get the point? I can collect 20,000 naira and go and do my chefane, but I'm not beholden to you to go and vote for you.
Look at the situation, the real situation in the north. It used to be more or less think like one, act like one. Now the north is divided in terms of outlook. So some people in the north who don't want to be part of the north, who feel that look, the north is not working for them and they don't want to identify. In fact, some even say we don't want that word north. We want to be identified as middle belt or something like that.
Yes.
And there are reasons. Some are saying, look, not everybody should go. I mean, the thing we used to have, the monolithism that we used to have in the past, cannot work now.
But
we have been broken into 19 states with different, outlook in things. So how can we put together the
Can
north?
I answer that question, please?
Okay.
Yeah? Because this issue of monolithic north that people used to say. The North had never been monolithic. Never.
No, in terms of politics.
The North, politically, we are the only region, and I'm a historian, I can tell you, we are the only region that had several political parties winning election, both at the Northern House of Assembly and then at the National Assembly. We had NPC, we had NCNC, we had even NCNC won election here, Action Group won election in the North, MBC, UMBC, then NEPU, yes. Borno Youth Movement, even tribal organization. But the first that went into to represent me went under Chamber Tribal Organization. So we never had. And then in terms of religion, we had several religions. We have Islam, we have Christianity, we had animism. Then in terms of even the geography, we have, desert areas, we had, forest zones areas, even in the middle belt that you talk about, we had middle belt leak in the First Republic. So we never have been monolithic. What we had was good and sincere leadership. Even
across this political
even across them, all of them, they were working for their own people. They were working for their own people. But now, look at the governors. If you say governors in northern Nigeria, give me one governor, just one, out of the whole lot, that you can say, this one, you can buy him 10 kobo. Who?
Isn't that too harsh?
Okay, maybe you may be soft, and see the continual, flow of blood in your community. I come from Adamawa State. At one time, all our communities in the entire northern region was submerged by Boko Haram. They put down Hong. They got Garkida, Gombe, Mubi is the entire northern senatorial district. And so up till now, as I'm talking to you, there are several IDPs in northern Nigeria. But the year 1999, when the military handed over, there was not one single IDP in northern Nigeria. One single IDP, there wasn't. There was no one single Boko Haram or insurgency in northern Nigeria. There was no one single bandit in northern Nigeria. There was no one single, Islamic fundamentalist in northern Nigeria. All these things came up in the 25, 26 years of this democracy because of the kind of leadership we have put in place. Who came in there, they were only for themselves, just for themselves, not for anybody else, but for themselves. The society that they are supposed to represent, they left that society, I don't care. How many governors stay in their states for 5 good days? How many of them?
Very few.
How many?
Well, Group Captain,
yes, please.
The North now has become the butt of
jokes.
Yeah. And, very, very harsh condemnation for being the dragons.
The parasites.
The parasites. The part of the country that does not want to, live up to its expectations. It just wants to, be a leech on other parts of the country, to the point that people are saying the North, we can even do without the North. The North no longer even is relevant to Nigeria. We should separate the country, let the North go its way, let everybody go its way, because we cannot continue to have the North dragging the country back. What do you say to that? Give me a realistic assessment of this.
Well, with due respect, it is difficult to argue with such assertions, because like we said, when you look at all the social indices, socio-economic indices, no matter what you look at, the North is far. Is it education? Is it health? Is it livelihood? We are far behind. So definitely the other parts of the country could say we are dragging them back. But what is the solution? Like I said, the solution still comes from selecting good leaders that will carry the North. We are blessed with so many things. I think they're not even forgetting this. If we can concentrate. Now look at the regions we have. Somebody was telling me as far back as during Gawan's regime, there were places that they had a whole complex for livestock, from where you'll carry a cow, where it can be skinned, where the bone will be separated, where the hide and skin will be taken. We have such things.
In Bauchi, I remember that's
State.
in Bauchi.
In Bauchi State.
Yeah.
It's my friend from Bauchi that's telling me that thing. So you can imagine, now that we have all this Northern Governors Forum, Northern Governors Meeting, even contiguous states, 2 of them cannot come together and open a large farm so as to harness this agriculture, take all these people that don't have work, let them be working there, so that our groundnut pyramids will come back. Nobody is thinking of that. Everybody is doing flyover. He is doing international airport leading to nowhere. You know, all those kind of things. These are really, really crazy ideas. I was just reading yesterday. We have a Northwest Development Commission. We have a Northeast Development Commission. Out of the blue, the Southwest Development Commission is just formed after all this was. What did they do? All the governors came and gave that Southwest Development Commission one task. What is the task? Link all the Yoruba states with the railway. That is thinking. That is thinking. Yeah. If you go to Northwest, and what we do is buying grain to distribution of palliative. That is the main contract. Look at the different. That's what the governors told. If you link all the states with railway, you have done. That is future thinking.
Now I want to put these questions to both of you. You know, I think both of you should be able to say something about this. We watched as the Southwest governors met recently to talk about the issues of security and to be able to provide solutions to security, to make sure that that zone of the country is not infiltrated by insurgents or by whatever type of criminals. And they've been at it very, very, and they have resolved without any waste of time to be able to, you know, secure that area. They have done that commendably. But here we are in the north. It's even a Herculean task to get northern governors to even meet. The last time the ACF met, I think, in Kaduna, they were talking about raising funds. In the midst of that, what do we say about the northern governors, northern intelligentsia, northern politicians, and the quest to be able to solve the issues, to resolve the issues on ground? I think
the Southwest governors rightly pointed, they just met. Apart from the issue of railway, they also talked of issue of security, and all of them were united. They want state police. They are going to have a security architecture that covers all the states so that there is uniformity across security issues. Come to the Northwest. That is the Southwest states on their own. In the Northwest, I am sure about 2-3 months back, UNDP, that's a UN organ. It was the one that even mobilized the Northwest states to come and have a uniform security architecture. What did we have? It didn't work. The same Northwest governors went to the US. All of them went and presented paper. But what do we have? This state is saying it is doing amnesty with bandits. This one, it is saying it's non-bandit territory. The next one is saying it's bandit territory. The next one is, how is it going to work? Neighboring states with different capacities. And I'm telling you, for the Northwest, they are even being pursued by international organizations to have a security plan. Up to now, it has not been done. It's UNDP that did that. So compare them with the Southwest governors who on their own, without any push, they are the one coming to do. So we do respect, I think in the North, again, it comes back to quality of leadership. If our people continue collecting 10,000 naira, 2,000 naira, Maggi and soap, and voting for useless people, we are not going to go anywhere. And this claim of us being parasites, of dragging the rest of the country backwards, is going to follow us.
Dr. Ardo,
okay.
Your take.
Thank you. It is very saddening that we are making even a comparison with Southern governors, and that the Southern governors are better. If you take us back into history, you should know that Northern Nigeria ought to have developed a better administration. They ought to be better in administration than the South. When the Europeans came here, Europeans came and saw real government with clear, administrative demarcations. This one for this one. There's judicial, there's executive, there's legislative, there's standing army, there's standing police. There's clear. So what the Europeans did, it's so easy. They said, okay, all we need to do, let us just supplant the colonial administration over this, and then we name them native authorities. And they left them basically, there. Yet we have, now look at where we are. But I tell you the problem. The problem is that when the Europeans came, they found us literate people who read and write from age 3, 4, 5. You read and write in Arabic. And so they now came and brought Western education on it. Most of our people suspected it. They didn't want it. They said, no, we don't want it. But the Europeans, because they were the powers that were, they supplanted all the same. And so Western education, even though it was taken in the North, it was not taken seriously. But it was the official education. Now, in the South, when the Europeans came, they did not know anything about literacy. All of them in the South, they didn't know anything about literacy. They did not have any alphabets that they would read and write under. We had, for over 1,000 years, Arabic. So when this thing came, they saw something novel, and they took it, because they didn't have any other thing. So they took it. And that was how, and because the Western education is the official education, this became the parity between us and them.
We're getting to the end of the program, but I just want to put this across to both of you. You are northern, senior citizens from Nigeria and North, and you have talked extensively about the issues in the North. Why do we in the North always talk about the olden days? We're always talking about during Sadana this, we used to have this, we used to have that. Why can't we develop a pathway into the future? Why are we always looking backwards, not into the future? With all the resources that we have, in terms of material, in terms of resources, minerals, in terms of, people and all that, why are we always looking backwards instead of looking in the front, into the future? Can I take you, sir? Then I can come back to you.
Yes, because there is no progress. From the foundations laid by our forefathers to now, there's no progress. There's this Hausa adage that says, whoever remembers yesterday is because he's suffering today. Kind of something like that. I can translate
just
it
quickly,
like that.
yeah, just quickly.
So the issue is that we have not progressed. Our leadership from the First Republic has not gone better. It has gone worse. Yeah. In the First Republic, we are electing honest, quality people to lead us. Now we are selecting crooks with money.
Okay. Dr. Ardo, can you just, in a few seconds, just tell us, your own perspective on this issue of always looking backwards into the future?
I adopt his statement.
Okay. Umar Ardo and Group Captain Sadeeq Shehu, it's a pleasure having you on the platform. We appreciate your analysis as always. And viewers, that's a wrap up on this week's edition of Sunday Politics. On behalf of the team, I am Iliyasu Gado. Bye for now.